Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Wasp. So, this is another one of the original 12 battle mechs that we had started off with when FASA first created Battletech. Um, the description that we have here now, this is from Sarna uh, .net. This is the Battletech wiki. And the reason why I'm using this really because it's got all of the extra variations of this throughout the years. Um, and it's a very good source of information for that reason alone. Most of the write up is also from the write ups in the different tech manuals that came out over the years and trying to compile it all together. It's nice to just grab the information from here. So, this is where I'm grabbing the information. So, our description here introduced in 2464 as an attempt by General Mechanics to create a fast and maneuverable recon battle mech for, for the Terran hegemony. The Wasp was revolutionary for being the first mech capable of jumping, sporting a prototype jump jet system. However, the system was not perfected for most of the next decade. After improvements in production and jump technology progressed, the modern Wasp 1A uh, began production in 2471. Centuries later, it is still considered a valued asset for recon work as one of the most numerous mechs in existence. The initial design was built around um, monomolecular stress resistant materials in the lower leg actuators. Uh, this wasn't identified as a flaw until 2580, Battle of Imbros 3, when many Wasp mech warriors practiced the jump kick maneuver. After, after performing the maneuver even once, so much stress was put onto the actuator that many subsequent jump kicks immediately amputated the lower leg upon impact. By 2610, nearly all Wasps had been retrofitted with MMSR actuator bars. The classic Wasp 1A has a ground speed that could be considered lackluster when compared to many modern light mechs, but this was offset by its jump capability. While carrying heavier weapons than mechs like the Locust, the Wasp would generally only engage other light mechs using its jump capabilities to avoid conflicts with larger foes. The Wasp was also used in the role of raider because of its ability to hit and fade into rough terrain. Even after the sheer destruction of the successor wars, the Wasp still remained the most numerous mech ahead of the Locust and Stinger. Many thousands were in use by all the great houses and in the periphery, while 100 or more were built each year from factories across known space. Nearly half of all newly built Wasps came from IBMU's and Kaliyama's factories located in the Free Worlds League on Shiro 3 and Kalidasa, respectively. Among other major Innersphere Wasp manufacturing sites were Defiance Industries for Furlough factory on the Laren Commonwealth and Archneer Battlemechs on New Avalon in the Federated Suns. Many of the great houses had Wasp variants built specifically for them, as did Wolf's Dragoons. Even out of the periphery, the Wasp was manufactured by Taurus, Perdition, Cannabis 4, and Alf- Alfretez, making it equally common among the periphery states. The reintroduction of the Star League Lost Tech was used to update the ancient design with modern improvements, starting first with the Wasp 1S, built by Defiance for the Federated Commonwealth. This was followed by the new Wasp 3W, built specifically for Wolves Dragoons on Archner, when the Wasp 3M built by IBMU and Kalihama. Another wave of updates came when Viacor Industries began to peddle their Project Phoenix program and found a willing buyer in Hellespont Industries, requiring only minor changes to their production line. When the new Wasp 3L was more mobile and stealthy, it debuted in late July of 3067, and the Capellian Confederation Armed Forces used it alongside new Raven and Phoenix Hawk models from the Shadow Lances. Taurus Territorial and Detroit Consolidated also began building these new Wasps under license from Hellespont, while Defiance designed their own updated version of the Wasp, the WSP 3S, which was then licensed by Archner. Okay, now if I'm pronouncing the words differently from what you're used to, I do apologize. I have some wonderful videos I watch from so many other people from around the world, and everybody I think pronounces it differently. And it's just some of those things as we look at the words and we pronounce them. If I'm saying it to you incorrectly, I do apologize. All right, weapons and equipment. The Wasp 1A was not designed as a line combat unit. It carries light weapons payload meant primarily for self defense against other light mechs, and was not meant to engage heavier mechs, resulting in tactics such as the jump kick in order to deal more damage. The primary weapon was a diverse optics Type 2 medium laser carried in the right arm, backed up with a bicell SRM-2 launcher that is curiously mounted on the left leg, which can carry 1 ton of standard or infernal rounds in the left torso, making it useful against enemy mechs and a good deterrent against infantry and vehicles. Published schematics indicate that the mounted SRM-2 launcher is located near the hip. See the notes. Uh, the 6 jump jets, split between the Wasp's legs and torso sections, are responsible for its jumping distance of 180 meters and its longevity as a recon mech. These also make up for the relatively slow 66.5 kilometers an hour cruising speed produced by its 4-ton fusion engine. 6 single heat sinks were more than enough for the Wasp. It can actually fire both of its weapons systems continuously with little to no issue, unless the jump jets have been overused. The 3 tons of armor protection is average for light mechs, and with its placement around the chassis, essentially 2 shots to the same spot anywhere will punch through and cause damage. All right, so we're going to get into the variants here as I kind of scroll down. Okay, so we look at the Wasp 1, developed by General Mechanics on Mars in 2464 as the first generation Wasp. This version used several primitive components. The primitive engine reduced the top speed to 85 kilometers an hour and uh, meant that only a single medium laser was carried. The prototype jump jets could only cover 150 meters in a jump, and the primitive armor provided much less protection than the later Succession Wars era Wasp, even though it carried 3.5 tons of armor. The Wasp 1D, developed in response to the logistics attrition during the later years of the First Succession War. The Federated Suns variant, developed in 2823, exchanged the SRM-2 launcher for 2 Crisp Cop 32 small lasers in the left torso and the Olympian Flamer in the left leg. While firing these additional weapons leads to an increased heat output, it is not enough to pose a serious risk. Uh, the Wasp 1K, another variant intended to ease uh, logistical requirements as the First Succession War dragged on, the Draconis Combine 1K Wasp was introduced in 2018, improving production while sacrificing firepower. It retains the medium laser but replaces the SRM-2 launcher with a Sperry Browning machine gun and 1 ton of ammunition in the left torso. The saved weight was used to upgrade the armor by half a ton, uh, for better or worse. All right, the Wasp 1L, a variant of the Wasp produced by Hellespont on Capellan Confederation in 2799. The 1L replaced the medium laser and SRM-2 launcher with a single Holly SRM-4 launcher carried in the right arm, supplied with a single ton of reloads in the right torso. Envisioning a variant highly adaptable to raiding actions of the First Succession War, the Capellan Strategos deployed the 1L with multiple munition types based on their intended mission role, such as incendiary or gas SRMs, or anti infantry support, or smoke SRMs for recon concealment. The reduction in overall firepower made the 1L an adequate, um, though not spectacular, combatant. The Wasp 1S, the Federated Commonwealth's model of choice starting 3049, Defiance Industries of Furlio, upgraded the chassis to endo steel and the armor to 3.5 tons of ferrofibrous. This variant uses the weight savings to carry a medium pulse laser in its right arm, two Defiance 3 B3S small lasers in the right torso, and a Zippo flamer in the left torso. The Wasp 1W, associated with the Wolf's Dragoons, and debuting in 3009, the Wasp 1W replaced all of the weapons with 6 small lasers, 2 each split between the right arm, right torso, and left torso. While sacrificing long range capability, this gives the 1W superior close range firepower. The 3A, developed by Outworlds Alliance in 3082, the 3A was armed with a single medium pulse laser. It utilizes endosteel and an exogyro to save weight while using a smaller engine. Its reduced ground speed is offset by improved jump jets, allowing it to jump 240 meters at a time. It also includes a full head ejection system. All right. The 3K, the variant was introduced by in the Dark Age era. It carries a single medium laser and a MRM-10 into combat with endosteel frame. It utilizes an XL engine and 10 single heat sinks. Most importantly, it's equipped with a full head ejection system to protect the pilot. The 3L, developed by Viacor Industries from Word of Blake, plans and manufactured by Hellespont Industries of Cyan, TTI, and Taurus and DCM on Detroit. The 3L variant uses the Capellan Confederation's new stealth armor and Hellespot's Type W endosteel chassis to make it more stealthy, mobile, and survivable. 4 tons of Hellspot light stealth armor provide superior protection and, along with a Guardian ECM suite, makes it harder to locate and hit the Wasp. The 6 jump jets were also relocated to rear torso to better protect them and decrease Cost. A diverse optics ER medium laser is carried in the right arm, and a Death Bloom RL10 is mounted in the right torso. This inclusion of a Marion weapon to the mech was controversial, but nonetheless provided additional firepower. Despite other improvements, the 3L variant still carries 10 single heat sinks, a cost cutting measure to take advantage of Capellion's massive stockpile of these components. For communications, this variant mounts a Hellspot tight beam system and a RADCOM TXXI for targeting tracking. It also it is also equipped with a full head ejection system, first appearing in 3067. The Wasp 3L was the first model featuring the new Project Phoenix makeover. The 3M, the post Helm Memory Core House Merrick variant introduced in 3051. The 3M Wasp upgrades the chassis to Arian chassis second generation class 20 endo steel and the armor of ferrofibrous. This variant carries an intact medium pulse laser in its right arm and a single Arian Weapons Works SRM2 launcher in the right torso with case for ammunition. The variant is also equipped with the Arian ear communication system and the Wazet aggressor targeting tracking system. The 3P, another Dark Age variant. This model has a top speed of 110 kilometers an hour and can cover 210 meters in a jump. It's also equipped with a full head ejection system. For offensive operations, it carries an ER medium laser and a RL10, a rocket launcher 10. The 3S, the Lyran Alliance Project Phoenix rebuilt. The 3S variant of the Wasp, introduced in 3067, upgrades the engine to a light version and carries two ER medium lasers, a full head ejection system, a Guardian ECM suite, and a TAG target designator. Defiance also licensed the version to Archner and or on New Avalon. The 3W, manufactured by Archnar for Wolves Dragoons in 3050. The Clan Invasion era 3W upgraded the armor to ferrofibrous and carried two Pseudol precision line small pulse lasers in the right arm and four Criscomp 32 small lasers split between left leg and left torso. This increased firepower came at the cost of reducing armor protection to just 2 tons. Then we have the 3X, a failed Arian Battlemex limited variant designed under the supervision of Herbert Sampson. This model built on the 3M with upgrades to the XL engine and XL gyro. It was armed with two Thunderbolt 5 launchers and a medium laser. It used compact heat sinks. The weight of new systems necessitated the reduction to a minimum 2 tons of armor, and due to high cost and poor performance, the project was scrapped in 3091. The 4W to replace a replacement for the 3W, Wolves Dragoons deployed this improved model shortly before the Jihad began due to negative combat experiences with its predecessor. Protection is increased to 3 tons of ferrofibrous armor, and it is powered by a light fusion engine with 10 double heat sinks. The right arm and left torso are equipped with ER medium lasers, and a pair of small lasers are installed in the left leg. The 5A, produced after the Dark Age began, the Wasp variant uses an ER medium laser and Streak SRM2 as its weaponry. The streak ammo is protected by Case 2, while the armor is ferrofibrous. This variant uses an XL engine to reach speeds of 120 kilometers an hour, and 8 jump jets are attached to the endo frame to allow 240-meter jumps. Next, we have the 7MAF. This 3071 variant uses an XL engine on the Hellspot Type W endo steel frame to propel the Wasp up to 129 kilometers an hour. It also mounts enough jump jets to match its maximum range of 240 meters per jump. It has to use this speed to good effect, as it only has, or as it is only protected by 3 tons of uh, Jalasa 328 armor. The right arm medium laser is upgraded to diverse optics ER medium laser, and the design uses 10 double heat sinks to dissipate waste heat. Finally, Doombud MML5 with 2 tons of ammunition gives a decent punch at all ranges. So this is a medium missile launcher. Um, in order to make room for these upgrades, a small cockpit and XL gyro were also used. Despite the unit designation, the design was manufactured by all 3 members of the Trinity Alliance at Hellespont Industries, Taurus Territorial Industries, and Detroit Consolidated Mechworks. The 8T, manufactured by Hellespont and Detroit Consolidated in 3075. The 8T carries a single medium missile launcher 3 and a light PPC to increase the Wasp's effective range. The increased size of the weaponry forced designers to use a small cockpit and the XL engine. The Wasp C, produced by Wolf Empire Techs, this mech uses a unique blend of clan and inner sphere technology. The engine gyro endosteel chassis, the jump jets, and inner sphere are of inner sphere quality, while the ferrofibrous and double heat sinks and weapons are clan grade. The right arm carries a clan ER large laser, while the left leg has a clan built improved one shot streak SRM2. The laser's long range is particularly useful as the class Wasp C has ground speed and jump radius of Successor Wars era Wasps. So that's what we really have here. We do have some design quirks that are listed. So we have easy to maintain, an extended torso twist, um, and I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. My reading skills, I will never say are the greatest. Ubiquitous. Let's see. We do have uh, the Wasp 1 variant is subject to the following design quirks. We have hard to pilot and weak legs. Related designs, we have the Wasp 2A, which is a Super Wasp. Also, it carried the designation as Wasp 2A. This arguably not a variant, but rather a new mech design based on a regular Wasp. It is, or in a similar fashion to the 2C evolution of existing designs, albeit without clan level technology, the Super Wasp weighs in at 25 tons, 25% more than its predecessor. And of course, we also have the famous Wasp Lamb, a heavy modification to the Wasp. It was capable of transforming between a mech and an aerospace fighter. The most successful of the Lambs, it is nonetheless very rare and hard to use, and is almost unseen by the 31st century. While the Wasp has seen many variants in production over the years, the Lamb model was only briefly produced. The hardest and biggest drawback is you have to be really certified as a aerospace pilot as well as a mech pilot, and always going back and forth between the two. All right, so we're going to get down here. We'll look at some of the designs that were originally done. So this was one of the original drawings done by Luce, as we can see down by the foot here. This is one of the iconic drawings that we have. And then, of course, we get a nice uh, prototype blueprint, if I can get it to kind of come up here. So this was also used in and most notably to me, um, the Crescent Hawks interception. Uh, we had this schematic done as a kind of quiz that was given before you could actually get out and pilot your mech in the training area. And it would actually ask you like three different questions, and it would point to a certain spot, whether it was the gyro, um, like an actuator of one sort or another, whether it was a hip actuator, foot actuator. Um, let's see, I'm trying to remember. This goes back quite a few years, so I mean, trying to remember off the top of my head exactly what they all were. But there were a couple different ones, and for us old timers, we got to geek out on it. It was always a lot of fun being able to do that and say, "Hey, I know that one." Later on, we got another version of the Wasp 1A, and you'll notice a slight difference in this one. Um, we actually have a hand on the right, a right hand. Uh, Typically, the Wasp is shown where there is no hand in the right arm, and in this variant, there is a hand there. Now, that doesn't mean that it couldn't be there or whatever else, as there are so many different manufacturers producing this. It's always easy to say that somebody else's variant does have the hand on there. Let's see. This is another one of the old iconic looks to it. Again, it would be the 1A, which is funny because they've always talked about the SRM2 being in the leg, but it is always drawn in the right torso. I don't know why I think it was really a mislabeling as to where it was, but because it was always written there, it's always been in the leg, even though it's always been drawn in the right torso. And of course, once we had Project Phoenix, we have one of the other variants. This is the 3L, where we get to see um, the upgraded version post. Really, the Project Phoenix is a post lawsuit variation of like the 3025. And of course, we have a LRM-10 here, or possibly an MRM-10 or a rocket launcher 10. I don't know exactly what it was. I know I was reading through all of them, but trying to remember everything that was being said. And of course, we have the nice laser here sitting in the right arm. Let's see, we have another variant very close to what we had just had. This is the 3S. So we do have possibly two medium lasers sitting here or so. Um, Here's another look at it as somebody else has redone the look of what the Wasp should look like in a different setting. Now, this is the Wasp 1, so this would probably be the original prototype of everything before it really kind of got hammered out later on. Um, Trying to get some other iconic looks here. Okay, so way back when, and I do have a copy of this, when they gave us the plastic miniatures, this was one of them that we had for, this is our Wasp. So we had the Wasp, the Stinger, Locust, Archer. Um, I think we had the Rifleman, Marauder, and Battlemaster in there. if I'm remembering correctly, because I want to say we did have the 12 of them in there, or at least most of them. Um, Now this is oops, I don't know what'll happen there. This is from the Project Phoenix. So this is a wasp from miniature from the Project Phoenix there, as things have kind of shuffled here a little bit. And wanting the note before we wrap all this up and we get into our stats, uh, this is very much what we would have gotten for the wasp, looking very much that of um, from Macross or Robotech when you look at the coloration and all that stuff. So this one, a very early take of that, um, before we even had the stands, because you actually cut here and you kind of put it together. But because they borrowed so heavily, they had the rights to it, but unfortunately, it just didn't get kept up by the law when it went to court. So um, it's just how things had worked. So just kind of saying in that regard. And of course, then we have just more of a black and white version of it, or grayscale. So, all right, let's go look at our stats that we have here and see how well I did, and whether you agree with it or not. Oops. Okay, you guys caught me. Because I grabbed, and like I've said many times before, I will grab one just so I can get the uh, basic stats out here, and then we just kind of copy and paste from there. I believe it's the 1A. All right, so I forgot to change the name here, but keeping everything else. Now, one of the things I do apologize, I do not know the actual height of this. I was able to look up the height for the locust, but for the wasp itself, I don't know anywhere. I mean, because they go from 8 to 14 meters tall. I don't know exactly where it sits in there. So I'm still going to leave it at 8 meters tall unless I can really find out where it's really supposed to sit. So uh, if I have it wrong, I apologize here. And then you'll see something else that I've changed just slightly um, from what we were doing before. Hopefully, you guys will agree with it. If you do, great. If you don't, just kick it out. So just throwing it out here. All right, we are going to have a crew of one, passengers of none, same as before. These are not very extensive cockpits in here, being smaller mechs. Cargo capacity is still going to be our traditional 45 kilograms, full coverage. This is going to be a ground range per se. I didn't change the maneuverability yet. I'm working on an idea here, kind of based off of the speed and that, but I really haven't monkeyed with that so far, and I have to kind of flesh that out before I make any changes. For now, I think we might just leave it as like a 2D plus one, and it might just kind of go down by the size. I don't know. I'm thinking it might go a little bit more off of the speed for the maneuverability. So if I do get to that change, I'll let you know what I changed there. Our move, as stated before, it does have a top speed of 95 kilometers an hour, and it has a jump of 180 meters. Keeping the body strength because it fits for what I was kind of saying before in how to really do the body strength and all that. Being the same weight class and that, we have a body strength of um, 2D plus one. Now, what you see here is a 48 AP, so that's armor points, because they all have different amounts of armor here. So the Wasp having the jump jets, they cut a little bit of the armor. So if I just wanted to run this with nothing but just like a hit point, it's got 48 points of health here. Okay, the Locust, which I'll flip over because it doesn't have the jump jets in there, it's got a little bit more armor. It actually has 64 points of armor. So I did want to kind of point that out here real briefly. Uh, Weapons. We still have that same medium laser that we had before with the Locust. We have one of those, but it's in our right arm. Fire control is 2D, damage is 5D. Now, the SRM2, fire control is 2D, damage is going to be 5D because it's the 2. A single SRM is going to do 4D damage plus, you know, it's 2 missiles instead of 1, so it's going to be 5D. Just kind of keeping it that. Um, and we actually have the same range. So I kept it with a fire arc up front. Really looking at the picture, it is in the torso. Whether you want to consider it the torso or the leg, it's up to you. However you want to do it, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just throwing it out there. Um, I don't have prices listed on these. Not saying that we don't have them, and I think if you're looking at what the wiki page um, had in there, I think they actually have it listed. As I flip through this, I don't know if they do or not. No, I don't see a price listed on here. I think that's something I will probably have to add, and I know that we have pricing scales for all of these. Um, and of course later on, and I said this on the first, when we did the Locust last week. It's amazing to see how the price started and how it just balloons up as we get all the new tech and all that stuff in there. So where these were, I want to say they were for sure they were under 1 million C bills starting, possibly like 400 plus thousand C bills to get one of these made. Um, but then once we start getting all the advanced tech and everything, you start looking at these at being like 2 to 4 million C bills just to produce them. So, but everything I'm doing here, I'm just keeping it at a basic state. And, in the game, we can always upgrade things however you want. Running this as a role playing game, just trying to have some fun, being a little looser on the rolls, uh, just for the role playing aspect of it. And I said it last time, and I'll say it again. If I was going to do Battletech as just Battletech on the board or whatever, I would just keep the regular rules. But I'm just bringing it over so we can run this in a D6 as a role playing game. So, with that being said, thank you so very much for stopping by. Thanks for visiting. It's always wonderful having you here. I know these videos are a little bit longer than what I normally go for, but there is a lot of information. These are older mechs. They've had so many revisions on them. And we'll find other mechs that are not so storied, really, to say it in that regard. We don't have so many years worth of upgrades and revisions and trials and errors and all that stuff. So some of these we will get a little bit shorter, and we'll go from there. But hope you're doing well, and I will see you in another video.